Okay, perfect. So, hi everybody. Thanks for coming today in the session on regarding the private health insurance. So, after 3 or 4 months, we are again making the session. So, today we have here with us Andreas Schmidt or Andy, who is an expert in this field for almost 30 years plus. So, and who has been also kind enough to give us sessions and share his information thrice or 4 times a year whenever possible. So, that is very kind of him. So please, Andy, say a few about yourself so that we can start with the session. So small introduction about yourself.
Thank you, Aaron. Hello, everybody. You said everything already, everything important. I'm old. I'm already 50 plus, and from that 50 years, I'm working already 30 plus years in the insurance business since 1991. Yeah, unbelievable. It's getting more and more. And specialized on the private health insurance and on the pension plans and stuff for more than 20 years now. And what is also important, I'm in an international marriage myself. So I also was an exchange student in the United States when I was 17, 18. So I know both sides. I know how it feels to be a foreigner in a foreign country and everything is new. And I also know, from my wife, who is Asian, what problems are there if you come here with the insurances, with taxes, with everything. So I can feel you guys, and your situation.
Perfect. So thanks, Andy, for the good and wonderful introduction. And of course, he has a pet puppy. That's also key information. So just kidding. So on to directly to the agenda for the day. We'll talk about, first of all, what is private health insurance, who can take it, how it's calculated, how does it differ from public, for example, does it cover the same? I mean, there are a lot of points. We'll go one by one. And also regarding international coverage, claim, and the most important, no claim bonus part. So that was interested for many people who are registered here today. So probably we'll also see a little bit in detail that. And on to the first one. So Andy, can you say in a few words, what exactly is private health insurance? I mean, in your own terms.
Well, in Germany you have two different systems. You have the governmental one, or what you also call your compulsory insurance of the statutory health insurance, GKV. So I always say public insurance, and then you have the private health insurance. The private health insurance is basically only possible for employed people who earn more than 66.6K, so 5,550 euro monthly or more. They are only eligible. For them, they can only access the private one, or the government employees, the Beamte, But that's a different topic, and all other employed persons have to be in the public health insurance, or freelancer, Selbstständige is also possible for the private. So the private one is actually having better conditions for mostly better price. It depends, of course, on the family situation, but we will come to that later, because the main difference is much better conditions, much better coverage, and if it's only one person or two person, to a better price than the public one, because the public one for that group, what I just mentioned, who earn more than 5,500, they pay already almost 1,000 euro premium together with the employer this year.
Perfect. So I think you already break a spoiler, but we can see in the examples in the later slides. So, but thanks for the difference between this private and public. So, Andy, how is the price calculation made for public and private? So it gives a little bit more understanding for some people who are very new to Germany. So could you tell about public and also about private, as in the slides?
Okay, what you see on the screen is how the private insurance is calculated. So we completely only look how old is the person, how is the previous illnesses, the health condition, and then we calculate a premium. The gender actually doesn't count. Gender is since 2012 doesn't count. Before it did, because of European Union law, of course, of equally treatment, which is good. But the age, of course, is a key thing to the calculation. So most people enter between, let's say, 30 and 40, or more roughly between 25 and 45. That's I would say 95% of the people who are entering the private health insurance, and they cost, depending on the plan, it costs a it costs a less. Oh my goodness, it costs a lot less. Sorry for that tongue twister. Than the public one. The public one is calculated by the income, and everybody who is eligible, as I said, with 5,550 is above the limit, so they have to pay the highest price. And the average of all public health insurances in 2023 is 979 euro, together with a Pflegeversicherung, which is connected actually.
All right. So I think that gave some insight for people who are new regarding how the difference in calculation is in Germany, at least. So, sorry, I just went back to the previous slide. So the other common doubt or question which people have is like regarding the coverage. So the most important question is like, does the private health insurance has the same coverage as a public health insurance, or the GGV as we call it in short notes? And is there any law protecting that same coverage, and what is missing? So I have a couple of questions here. So could you please answer one by one?
Yeah, okay. I try to.
All right.
Yes, there is a law protecting it. Of course, everything is regulated. It's called the Sozialgesetzbuch. In the Sozialgesetzbuch number 5, it's the private health insurance is described. And to come to the last point, everything is covered. In all fields are covered. It means like inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment at the hospital, and normal doctors, and then also the dentist. The coverage itself is there something that is missing? No. In most plans, not. I would say 98% of all private plans are better than the public ones. You would actually be allowed to leave out the dentist part, by law, but nobody's doing that, of course, because it's a high risk, and if you're getting older and your teeth have to be substituted, it's very pricey. So one tooth is like 3,000 euro plus. You have 32 teeth, so it can be a very pricey thing.
But just to repeat the question, like, is there anything that is covered in public which is not covered in private? Like in general?
No.
So just want to be very clear on that.
Because of course also the comparison to India, the private system in Germany is, from the coverage, a much better system.
Okay. I think we saw a little bit more detail. So other important question, maybe we can see the slide later, but you spoke about the age of the person is important for the calculation of the price. So immediately the question which pops, or already would have popped in many people here, is like, does that mean as I get older, the price of private health insurance changes? Is that the case?
No, it does not. You have an entering age. For example, what we did here is age 35. And then that premium is calculated for the whole time of the contract is running. So as you can see here, it stays on the same level. Of course, every year we have to check all our premiums and all our claims, what we spend for claims. If there would be more spending than income, then we are having the right to adjust. That's called Beitragsanpassung. That is sometimes happening. But ARAG is very conservative with that, and we have a very good position in the market with that. So we have an average of all our product lines since 1965 with 1.7%, which is way below the public one, and which is way below the Inflationsrate, inflation rate. That's an up-to-date topic, I would say. But of course you don't always have 10 or 12% in inflation, but over 30, 40 years you have something on average between 2 and 3%. ARAG has 1.7, and the public one is having between 3 and 4%. More the last 15 years, more 3.9% since 2010. And the tendency in the public one is that it is even getting worse.
So actually, I wanted to bring this slide. Maybe some of you who are in the repeated session would already know this. So somebody asked me like if we can get data for ARAG to see how it has been for somebody who did it in the past, because we everything we say is not based on assumption and should not be based on assumption. That's why I brought this slide to show how has been the history of the contribution in the previous years and how stable it has been, and then this can be also expected in future to stay the same way. So that was this purpose in the slide here. So for those who
it can also, of course, it is checked every year, so we cannot guarantee. But of course, if what you said is right, if you look in the past, that's the best look you can do. And if you look in the past for decades and not only for 1 or 2 years, and we are very stable there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have another question in the comment before I go to the example. So I think then we'll go on to the coverages parts. So this salary criteria which you mentioned, 66,000 or 600 euros per year, is this including the, for example, Christmas bonus or any other bonus, or is it only considering the 12-month salary? How is it actually? The eligibility for this?
That actually depends if it's a personal bonus or if it is a company bonus. Like if it depends on your personal performance or if it depends on the company performance only. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's on the company performance, then it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on your personal performance, then it can be counted. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course if the payment is really usual part of the payment plan,
Okay.
There is some people who, let's say, have a fixed income of 60K, and then they have like 20,000 bonus, and that is of course 25% part of it, and it depends on their own performance. So then it counts. Yes.
All right. Okay. So
but we can check every single case. Because that sometimes contract is different. We will check on that, of course, for you.
All right. So it's kind of a case-to-case dependent to check if it's a fixed bonus or it's a variable with what kind of probability. I mean, a lot of parameters into play here. So we have another open question here, Andy. So the thing is like one of the persons, I mean, Vipul is here on an ICT visa and he's dependent, and they are paying like around 1,025 euros per month for both of them. So can we enroll? So maybe his question is like, can a person on ICT visa enroll for private health insurance? I assume.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Then does a visa category matters on anybody coming to private health insurance, Andy? Or
well, we have to look. That is also an individual case. We really have to. Please contact us privately, and then we have to look at the papers and see what we can do.
Okay, so
if we cannot do it now, when we can do it, under what conditions, we have to look on the situation also with not only with your wife but also with you, and if you're married or not, and stuff like that, and if there's children and how long you are here. It's not to answer in one sentence.
All right, so then I think I'll just collect this question, and later over the email I will write it as a general query on the meeting, and then I'll pass it on. Vipul, I hope it's fine. Yeah, so here I'm just going straight to this example because some of you wrote before the meeting to give the numbers also. So here what we see is an example of somebody who's around, who's born in 1993. I think it's around 30 years old, single person, and having comfort. Just put the very basic package with ARAG, and also regarding the Pflegeversicherung, like the long-term care insurance. So this is the price. So do you want to something add to it, Andy, or this is enough to?
Well, no. What you said is the long-term care is included on the upper right side in the 484. Only the health insurance itself would be the 424. And you said in the very basic package of ARAG, yes, that's true. But this very basic package is already having a higher coverage than the public one. Yeah.
Okay. And what is self-contribution? Because this also I want to clarify in the general meeting. So what is self-contribution in health insurance?
You can lower the price if you would agree that, for example, if you take 1,200, the 1,200, if you would pay 1,200 euro yearly yourself, so the first claims you would not turn in, but the first bills you would say, okay, it's on my own, then the price would lower from 424 to 266, which makes sense for for a self-employed person, because self-employed person is paying the premium completely alone.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense for an employed person. For an employed person, it always makes sense to have no deductible or no self
contributions.
Because the employer is paying half of the premium.
Okay.
But the employer would not contribute to the contributions.
I understand. Okay. So I just want to show you guys here, like this 484 is not your part, but including your employer. So compared to like minimum 950, what you would be paying in public, for a person who is born in 1993, you would be paying around 484, the basic package. Of course, this is without including certain things like if you want Krankentagegeld and other things, but this will be just to give you a rough idea how much is it. And also included the next slide because someone in the last meeting spoke about like how couples it looks like, say two working people also
with one kid.
So maybe with one kid. So maybe Andy, you can also say something regarding whether two employers will pay the half and whether they pay for the child. So these questions will be of interest for some people.
Yeah, well, this of course in the private one you have to pay for each person, as you can see here. So if you have like a married couple here with a child, or also not married couple, and they're both 30 years old, then you would have to pay for each person 484 euro. And for the child is much cheaper. It's 152 only. And the child is also free in the Pflegeversicherung, in the PVN. So of course, if now you would only have one person working, then it would be a little above the 950 to 980, but a much better coverage for three people. But if two people are working again, then of course it makes sense to do it, because you pay more than 2,000 or you pay around 2,000 in the public one.
I mean, I put the minimum value so I don't give like very bad numbers, but I think 1,900 will at least somebody will be paying if both people are earning and having a salary of above 66 or 67,000 yearly for sure.
And as we said, our premium is very solid, very constant. And you can be sure that the public one keeps on rising, and it will be more than 1,000 already next year.
That's a good information. So I have seen a couple of questions in comment, guys. These questions have already been considered in the slide. It will come. So please have some patience. If anything missed, I'll definitely address that. So going on to the claim. Okay, before the claim, I have somebody, Praful Jain, raising his hand. Maybe we can take a question. So do you want to ask something?
Yes, I was about to write it in the chat. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please ask.
Yeah. So my question was, so in case one of the partner goes below the 65 or 66,000, whatever is the limit, then they automatically go back to public insurance, or what happens then?
Yes, if you would go below the limit, you have to go back because it's mandatory. If you are employed and employed more than 450 euro job, I think it's already 520 euro job where you don't pay anything. So if you're below the 520, above the 520 and below the 66.6k yearly, then you have to go with a public one. But then we would cancel the contract for that person right away. Of course, we need a proof. And then there's also no cancellation period. So you don't have to be scared that you have to pay double. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, and in case, for example, for females or even for guys, when they go on maternity leave or paternity leave,
there is an exemption. You can exempt from that. Even if you would have like 70k and you go on maternity leave, Elternzeit, for that time you can be exempted from the Pflicht, from being obliged to be in the public one. You can stay in the private one.
You can still stay in the private one, and then once you are joining full time, then you are normal.
Yes, you can be exempted for that. We also help you with that, of course.
Both man and the woman.
It doesn't matter if guy or girl.
Okay, thanks.
All good. Then so I think maternity will also come more little detail. So one question before that. So can one person be in public, other be in private? Because I showed so is it possible, Andy?
Yes, that's also possible. There's all constellations is possible. It depends on the individual situation.
Okay.
And it's possible both private, both public, of course, or 1+1, depending on the income situation and on employed or self-employed situation.
All right. So I'll just go straight away to the slide now. So we have a couple of another slides regarding kids and stuff. So regarding the claiming process, this is also an important question or doubt, or there is a lot of myth running around like claiming is very difficult. You should pay upfront 10,000 euros and then make the claim. So what are the different claiming processes? Maybe there's a reason also for that, as we both know. Maybe we can come to that also a little bit. So could you please explain about how to claim?
Okay. Well, of course, first thing, it depends on if it's a very small bill, from a medicine for 20 euro up to what you said, 10,000, surgery, hospital bill, something. Usually in the private one, that's where the rumor is coming from. You have a contract with the health insurance, and you have a contract with the doctor. So usually the doctor is sending you the bill, and you pay the bill and you claim it with the health insurance and get the money reimbursed. That's the usual case.
Okay.
But you don't have to pay right away if you get the bill. It's always a period of 4 or 6 weeks time you have.
Yeah.
And once you get the bill, I can explain to you how I do it. I'm also privately insured for 24 years, of course. My kids are insured since they were born. I have 2 kids. They are 16 and almost 18 already. And once I get a bill from a doctor, we have an application. We just have an app for the smartphone. I just take a picture, uploaded it, and then I see already the tracking. It's there. It's processed. It's in progress. And it usually takes right now for the first answer 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So we really got so many customers the last year. In between, it was between longer time, 10, 15 days, 20 days, but we hired more people. So we are very well off now with the service. We are 2 to 3 days usually. And if there's no question, then you will have the money right away. So you will have the money way before you have to pay the bill. You have to pay the bill in 4 or 6 weeks and you have the money already. If there's a bill which is too high, hospital, for example, all the hotel costs of the hospital, you don't have to prepay. You also get an insurance card from us, like in the public one. If you check in the hospital, you give that card, and all the hotel costs for the room and the food and stuff, we pay directly anyways. And then, but if you have a surgery, complicated surgery, it will be a couple of €1,000. You don't have to prepay that. I also wouldn't suggest that, because what we also do, if you get the bill, please send it to us ASAP, so we can even check on it, because sometimes the doctors put the bill too high. I don't want to say they are cheating, but you could also call it like that. They try, try to optimize it, put things in there which is not always right. So it's always better if we check on it, and you can instruct us to pay the bill directly. Okay. And so you don't have a risk of having to prepay that.
All right. So whenever there's such a situation, or in general, if the customer doesn't want to pay and then claim, they can directly upload the bill, and then it will be handled directly with the doctor, possibly. I mean, it will be looked into and then paid directly to the doctor.
Yes.
Thank you, Andy. So I have another question regarding, for example, when somebody, like both people working, so one of them is in private, one of them is in public, where will the children land? Will the children be compulsorily always in private or always in public? How does it work?
Yeah, there's also different cases, of course, different constellations. If both people are employed, then it depends if they are both earning above, or if one is earning above, the other one is not. If they are both earning above, then you can choose where the children. It could be also the case both are above. And let's say one person wants to go private, the other one doesn't want to, or maybe the other person can't because of the health situation, the health history. Then the children can be either one in public or private. But if one person is above and the other one is below, then the children have to go with the one who is private, who is above. Because the government is saying, if you choose for the better coverage, And for the advantages, then you also have to take the responsibility of your children. Yeah.
All right. I hope that answers one of the questions in chat. So I see a couple of questions in chat, but I will just go with the flow of the slides. And when these points meet with the slides, I will definitely address them. So don't worry if I skip and go somewhere. So next is the no claim bonus. This is something current with the previous slide of claiming process. So what is this no claim bonus basically, and when does a person receive it, and how much does a person receive?
Okay, over a period of 12 months from January to December, so the in German calendar year, if you don't claim anything except of checkups, we have a checkup list. It's like 3 or 4 pages. We will send you if you decide for us, and you can give the checkup list to your doctor. And if he doesn't claim anything else but those checkups, then you will get money back. And that is also something you don't have in the public one. You will get, depending on the product, if it's Mid Extra, Mid Best, or Comfort, you will get back between 300, 600, 900 euro. And plus 2.5 times the premium. Not of the whole contract, but also of the Mid Extra, Mid Best, or Comfort, not of the Pflegeversicherung or of the Krankentagegeld. But if you add that up, it will be, depending on the product, between, let's say, 1.5 and 2.4 a year. So 1,500, 2,400. If you divide that by 12, it is pretty attractive. It's like 125 euro to 200 euro you get back. And here comes the best thing. You don't have to give half of it back to your employer. Basically, your employer shared with you, but you are getting it back completely alone. So that's very interesting, of course. If you look at it mathematically over a whole year, you have 12 months. Your employer basically pays 6 months. You pay 6 months and you get 2.5 back, plus 900 in the Mid Best, for example. So it's like 2.5, you only pay 2.5 months of 12 months that you can deduct from the tax. So if you're completely healthy, it's really also not only from the coverage very attractive, but also from the financial payback.
Perfect. So is this only for the 1 year, or is it like always applicable, because not every year is a healthy year? So
no, it's every year, but the 2.5 of course is checked on, it depends on our situation. Right now we never did not pay anything. So we always paid, and it always was rising. In the history it was 1.2 premiums, then 1.8, now it's 2.5, and it never was less, and nothing was paid. But for the future, guaranteed is only those 600 or 900 if you have a zero deductible. But it's most employed persons get something back, you can say. And that's very attractive. And it's each year you have the chance again. You don't have to wait for 2 or 3 or 4 years like some competitors do. Because if you are sick, we really want you to go to the doctor. We don't want you to think, I'm not going because of the payback. Please go if you are sick. Next year you will have another chance.
All right. Okay. And then comes the question on the no claim bonus. Like if I take the preventive checkups, what you mentioned, for example, earlier, say a professional dental checking twice a year or something like that. In that case, will my no claim bonus be affected, or does not have an impact, or vaccinations for that matter?
It won't be affected. We want you to do the checkup. We want you to do the dental cleaning. We want you to do the suggested vaccinations. Just away from COVID, normal vaccinations, on that list, what have been suggested for decades. Because if people hear vaccination, they always think of COVID. It doesn't have to do with COVID. It was before like that already. Everything what is suggested in Germany on that list by this STIKO, called STIKO, you probably have heard that in the news. It's like a commission of the government which is suggesting what vaccination everybody should have. And then we pay that, and you still get the no claim bonus.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to add one point. This no claim bonus in the example of family, for example, 3 members, if one of them is healthy, other 2 had to happen to take some treatment, for the person who was healthy will still get the no claim bonus, because someone asked this question.
Each person for himself or herself.
Yeah.
So also there's no conflict, yeah, for financial interest. As you said, if the father, for example, doesn't have anything and the children do have something, then the father gets it back for his premium, but the children not, or the other way around, same thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Andy. So now comes to so far we focused on the money part, because many of you were asking regarding how to save money. That's a key thing, because you all put a lot of money in the health system. The other important questions comes now. For example, is shifting back to public possible even, and what happens during job loss, and also after what age can I not shift back? So could you just answer one by one so it's easier?
Okay. Yeah. Can we shift back when we want? You can shift back, yeah, but it depends on the situation. So you cannot answer that question with 100% with yes, yeah. If you are employed and you are still earning above 66.6K and you decided for the private, then you have to stay in the private, yeah. But I mean, if you earn below 66.6K, you are automatically going back in the public. If you would leave the country, we let you automatically out if you want to. Yeah, we also come to the international coverage. You also can keep the insurance, yeah, for a certain period of time, depending on where you go, if you want to. But of course, if you don't want to, if you move out of the country, the contract is ended. Yeah, and if as I said, if you go below, or coming also to the second question, if you use your job, you are also automatically in the public insurance. Yeah? And if you are older than 55, after which age I can shift back, then you cannot go back, even if you would earn below. Yeah. So if you are long-term privately insured, then you cannot go back. Let me say it this way: I'm turning 51 now. And I'm insured since I'm 27. I'm still paying less than I would pay in the public one. I'm still having the better coverage for 24 years. Why should I? Tell me a reason why I should want to go back. There is no reason. You wouldn't voluntarily go back, yeah, for more money, more premium, and less coverage.
Yeah, that's perfect. So
of course, there's one reason. Yeah. If your wife, or if the wife gets pregnant and you get triplets or quadruplets. Yeah. And of course, but that is, how often does that happen? Yeah. So
that's a rare event.
Let's be serious about it.
All right. So I think those answers.
And in that case, earn less, go into a job, beg your employer, can I earn 65K?
Reduce the number of working hours, for example. That also helps.
Yeah, or reduce, do part-time, whatever, like that. Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case. So another question before going to the dental coverage and eye, for example. So there is I'll just rephrase the question. What's on the chat? The last one. So if I am, for example, having the same amount of netto salary and I am currently privately insured, so when I'm retiring, also I'm having say 4,000 euros netto. Will private and public, is private costlier, or how is public dealing with? So, were you able to get my question?
Yeah, well, the public insurance, if you are in the old age, retired, you only have to pay your share, like before. You don't have to pay the 16.2%. Yeah, the average of all public ones is 16.2. So 8.1 employer, 8.1 yourself. So if you're on a long-term run in that public one, you have to pay 8.1% of that 4,000. Yeah. And in the private one, of course, you have to pay your premium, but you get a share from the Deutsche Rentenversicherung. Yeah, because if you are a pensioner, you get the pension from the Rentenversicherung. Yeah, and they also give you a share. They give you 8.1% as of right now. Of course, you don't know how it develops in the future. the income and the percentage. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But they give you, for example, if you have a pension of 2,500, you also get 8.1%. That is roughly 200 euro. And then you also have to parts of the premium you don't have to pay anymore. There's parts included. For example, you have an amount of 600 euro what you paid before in the private one. The Krankentagegeld, the income compensation, you don't have to pay anymore, and you don't have to pay 10% after age 60. It's going to be 10% less, which was also put for the old age. So you also pay 300 euro less. You can say you can really compare it.
Okay, so because this is a really big concern, so I just want to address this point. So another important point is also regarding kids, and this is something called Kinder Krankentagegeld. So like when children fall sick, parents take care of the children. So what is the difference in public and private? Because this point will be interesting for all. Just want to bring it in. So
in the public one, you have the right for 10 days for each kid, and with us you have 15 days for the contract. So it's 15 days for one kid, or also 15 days for two kids. But it's almost compensating it. And of course from the first day.
All right, perfect. Another question, or maybe a very strange question, I would say, maybe it's new also for me. Does the pension amount decrease because we choose private health insurance? Also rente. Does it decrease or increase because of choosing private health insurance?
Well, of course, the public health insurance is not deducted. Yes.
Okay.
So technically, you get more. Also in the case of pension, but also now, you get more money, but you have to pay the private yourself. So it's not deducted from your income. It is not deducted from your pension. The private one. The private one, you have a contract with us. You need your bank account number. But you get like 600, 700, 800 euro more from your employer. And then you pay us the 500, 600, something like that. That's how it works. And in the pension case, you get more pension and you pay us.
No, I think I framed the question wrongly. Sorry. So is there any connection between going to private health insurance and the Rentenversicherung? Are they connected by any way? Like now, for example, for me, if I switch to private, then does the percentage of money I put into into Rentenversicherung has an influence because of this, or does it stay constant still?
No, the Rentenversicherung itself is not affected because the income counts one time for the Rentenversicherung and then another time just on a calculating basis. So you don't have a less pension or more pension because of that.
All good. So I think I've answered almost many questions in the chat. Now let's go to the slides so that we can finish it on time, and then we can keep the other questions to the end. So regarding the dental coverage, how is the difference between private and public? Does it cover all the cost? What is not covered? What is the advantage in private? Could you please say a few words on that?
Well, in the public one, it's really a basic coverage. In the public one, it's like for each treatment, there is a certain amount of money the dentist gets. And for most higher quality treatments like implants and stuff, they don't really get a lot from the public one. Let's make an example. If you want to have an implant and you would only be in the public, the public one is covering the basic works of it, let's say. They're covering like 200, 300, 400 euro, but the implant costs 3,000 average. So the rest you have to pay yourself. In the private one, depending on the plan, we pay 80 or 90% of the implant. So we would pay between 2.4 and 2.7 of those 3,000. That is, for example, for an implantation. And that's only one example. Even if you have this root canal treatment, don't talk too much about it, then it starts hurting again here. It's been 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago, but once you had it, everybody who's in the chat who had it already feels it right now.
I can see it.
But root canal, for example, it's also very pricey, and in the public one, it only gets supported up to a certain stage of the illness. Yeah, each doctor, each dentist wants to save a tooth. Yeah, each doctor always says it's better to save the natural tooth than to extract it. Yeah, but the public one says only up to a certain degree you can do that, doctor. Otherwise, you have to extract it, because for the extracting it, they get like €35.
Okay.
Yeah, and the root canal costs between 400 and 800.
Okay.
So then you know why the public one says, okay, you just extract it. Yeah.
Okay, it's easier and cheaper. Yeah.
And in the private one, you can take care of what the doctor wants, and you save your tooth. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So I'll just a little bit hurry because we are having 15 minutes. So another important point is regarding the maternity. I think some of you are also asking this. Does it cover all the costs during maternity, especially? How about the newborn child? And for example, the last question is, some people like, can I plan this in India, my childbirth, if I want to? And also a little bit on Elton Geld, if you would wish, please.
Okay, you want to rush? 3 times yes.
All right.
No, it pays. I mean, serious. It's a serious topic. It's not a serious topic. It's a very important. Nice topic. Yeah. It's an important topic. That's the right word. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, we cover all the costs. We even cover more than the public one again. Let me make an example. When my children were born, or when my wife was pregnant, she also was privately insured at that time. And usually in the public one, you have 3 checkups after each trimester. So you have 3 checkups, that's it. Yeah, my wife had a checkup every month. So it was like 8 or 9 checkups. That's like 40 weeks. And they were all paid. Yeah. So, and thanks God it was that way, because my wife had a diabetes, which was not discovered in the beginning. Yeah. So if we would not have had all these checkups, God knows what would have happened with our daughter. Yeah. She was already on ICU. It was already close. But now she's fine. After 3 weeks, after she was born, she was released healthy from the hospital, and everything was paid. The specialists, So that's very important, and that is also the connection to part 2. If you are insured with us, the mom or the dad is insured with us for more than 3 months. Then the newborn is automatically insured in the same tariff or product line without health check. Yeah, that's very important, because you never know if something is wrong with the child, and you would have to answer the health questions. Then forget it. Yeah. But in that case, I would not suggest, if somebody's pregnant, to change the insurance now. Only if it's in the beginning. Yeah. Because of course you have a cancellation period of 2 months, and then you don't know if there's complications. So if there's an ongoing pregnancy, then you should wait. That's my suggestion. Yeah. But if you're planning on doing it and you're not pregnant yet, then go for it.
All right.
And can I plan the childbirth in India? Yes. Yeah. You have 3 months coverage worldwide each year, which can be extended up to 12 months for an extra premium. Yeah, but if you plan it well, 3 months could also be enough. Yes, it can also be done in India worldwide.
Okay, all right, perfect. I think this answers the most important question, because nowadays the flight tickets are getting costlier. So very common query I get is like, instead of bringing my parents or in-laws here and then also troubling them in the old age, it's better I travel to India and get the pregnancy done and then bring the child
but you
here.
also have to watch out, because I think the airline is only carrying a pregnant woman up to the 7th month. Yeah.
True, that's true. So what about the during this Elton side, how is the contributions to the private health insurance works? So we can address this here.
If you are insured with us for more than 8 months already, so 8 months, why? Because of course the existing pregnancy is excluded. Yeah, that's why I also said, if you're pregnant already, you better wait for the next time. Then you don't have to pay the premium for 6 months for yourself. Okay. So you have to be insured at least 8 months with us. Let me make an example. We are in March now. You have a 2-month cancellation period. So April, May, in between, you could start. The earliest you could start, if you decide in March still, would be June 1. Okay. June 1 plus 8 months is February 1. So if your child is born in February, it's fine. If your child is born in January, it's not fine. It's also fine, but then you don't get this 6 months free premium. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, it's for 6 months the whole premium for the mother or the father. Yeah. And but you can also, if it's too much money for you, you could also change the plan. For example, from Mid-Best or Mid-Extra to Comfort. Yeah. After giving birth, or you change the self-contribution from 0 to 600 or 1200 to lower the premium. And after the Elternzeit is over, you go back to the old contract situation.
Perfect.
Without health check.
Good. So I think this is a very practical example of what we can do during Elternzeit. So I just brought back to this again to this example for answering another question, like 2 questions. One is regarding is it a fake information that in private we get quicker appointments, or is it true? Like, I would put it like that. So
well, it's very much true, of course. Unfortunately, I have to say, it's very much true, because most doctors are already also have to think very economically. Yeah, because if they only have patients from the public, then it's sometimes hard to survive for them. Yeah, because you have to think, a doctor for a normal adult, a doctor is getting for 3 months, like from January to March, for example, they're getting 23 euro. If there's an old person, which is 70, and comes every week, comes 10 or 12 times, the doctor is earning 23 euro. Not every time, for the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, and if the private person goes there, he can bill every time 50, 60, 80 euro, which is covering his costs. So it is true, unfortunately.
All right. So another important doubt is can I go for other treatments like Ayurveda? Because I think most of us are Indians here. So Ayurveda or homeopathy, does it have a coverage in the private health insurance?
It depends on the product plan. There is this alternative medicine, which is covered up to a certain amount. In the Comfort plan is up to 500 euro. In the Mid-Extra up to 1,000. In the Mid-Best up to 2,000 euro a year. Yeah, if it's medically indicated. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I think that was one key question. Other was like, if I choose ARAG now, and for some reason I want to change the provider, how many years do I have to stay minimum in this so that
2 years?
2 years. Okay.
But the first year ends December 31st. So in my example from before, you would start June 1st. If you decide in March, or if you decide in April, you would start July 1st. You always have an ongoing cancellation period of 2 months. If you are above 66.6k and you are employed, that is for that case.
Okay.
Then the first year is basically over already after 6 or 7 months. Even if you start in June or July, end of December, the first year is over. So it's actually not 2 years, but 1.5 years.
All right. Okay. I think this is very.
Or if we would have a higher premium anytime. If we would put the premium up 1st of January, then you have an extra right for 2 months to cancel and change.
Okay, perfect. So another point I would like to add, or question, maybe you can put it like that. So laser treatment, I think this is also one beautiful example, difference between public and private. Could you tell about that also, Andy? How it is?
Well, lasering the eyesight.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in the public one, it's not covered. You would have to pay it fully yourself. And in our Mid-Extra or Mid-Best plan, it's covered for 2,000 or 4,000 euro. If you have a good institute, it costs about 2,000 euro for each eye. Something like that. So in the Mid-Best, it would be covered 100%. In the Mid-Extra, at least you would have 2,000 euro, better than nothing. So it would be also covered.
Perfect. So other point also from the screen, actually, I would say. So what is this regarding like the chief physician or 1 or 2 bedrooms? So what is this exactly, and what is the difference between public and private here? Because this could also
in the public one, you don't have the guarantee. that you get in a two bedroom, for example. There are some more modern hospitals which only have 2 bedrooms, then you are lucky. But in the public one, it states, for example, if you're traveling within Germany or visiting friends and then you have an accident, you always have a right for the next hospital and the available doctors and the available rooms. And there is a lot of old hospitals which only have 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. And with us, it's always private. It's always 1 or 2 bedroom.
Perfect. So
and you can have the treatment by the chief physician, which is very important if you have a special illness. Then you can really look for the specialist who is specialized in that field, who is really having the best knowledge and best experience. So if you live in Ingolstadt, for example, you could also go to Munich, Berlin, Cologne, wherever the doctor works. We will also pay that. You can really choose the hospital, and in the public one, you don't have a choice. I mean, in the public one, you also can go to Munich, Berlin, or Cologne, but then you have to pay for it yourself.
True. So maybe we can phrase it like free choice of hospitals and free choice of doctors options you are.
And I'm going to top it.
Please,
Even worldwide, if there's something, a planned surgery, and you say, it's not like life-threatening, I don't have to do it within the next couple of days, but I'd rather do it in India because I feel more comfortable with my own language. Then you even can do it there. We are even covering a planned, geplante Auslandsbehandlung, that's what it's the term. A planned treatment abroad is also covered by ARAG.
I think one example is recently someone did dental in India because he was unable to explain in Germany here. And it worked out like with living. So that's a good example.
And it's a win-win situation, I guess, because the costs are probably less. My wife is from the Philippines, and in the Philippines, it's also in Manila. They have very good dentists, very good high level, but the costs are only like 10 to 20% from here.
True, that's true. Yeah. So I have a last couple of questions. One is maybe I'll split the question. So we spoke about dental. Does clips come under this coverage because it's cosmetic? So like the braces, I understand what they mean by clips here.
That depends on if it's for an adult or for the children. For the children always, of course. If it's for an adult, it depends on the plan, on the product plan. So I would also suggest to get in private contact with us.
All right. And
to choose the right program.
All good. So I think that answers the second question also. We have to look privately to see that your personal requirement is satisfied or not based on the package we have.
Yes, because we have different product lines. It's like with a car. You can buy whatever Volkswagen Golf. You can buy a Mercedes, or you can buy a Porsche.
That's true. What you pay for at the end of the day. Nice. So I think somehow I managed to bring it within our time space and give still 2 more minutes for you, Andy. I mean, for everybody. So I think one of them raised the hand in between, but because we wanted to go over the slides and so that nobody loses the flow of the thing, if they want, please feel free to ask now. For others, I think I will send you a link so that you can make an individual appointment with me and then to Andy to talk about this based on that. If not, you can still stay on the call and then hear the questions also. So I'm not chasing you away.
Cashback available in all plans. Yes.
Okay. Direct answer.
I raised the hand. The question was about
yes.
About the tax deduction. So normally in public health insurance, since I'm here in Germany 10 years, never heard about it. So do you mean that when you are quite private, you can get your premium tax?
It's general, but I think Andy can answer it.
I didn't hear very well acoustically, but you can deduct from the taxes also the private one. If we calculate a private offer for you, you will see it's, for example, says you have to pay 600, and from that you can deduct like 480 from the tax. You cannot pay the full amount. You cannot deduct the full amount because the government says you can only deduct that part of it which is like the public one. So it's like 80% of it from our premium you can deduct. So that's a little disadvantage because of course if you pay 979 euro, you can deduct that. If you only deduct 80% of 600 or 700, it's less. But yeah, you are saving more still, yeah, because you don't pay 100% taxes, so you're still saving, of course.
I mean, definitely we can see that case to case, but in short words, it's not a loss, it's a savings. So I think Swati here wants to ask a question. Feel free to unmute and ask, please.
Yes. Hi. As you said, whenever somebody is met with an accident with private insurance, what in case if it needs a surgery? Is it that at that point of time, if we don't have money, how should we proceed in that case? If it costs some 4,000 euros, 5,000 euros, because every time we cannot have backup of such a big amount, right? So
you don't have to prepay that. As we said, and it's not like in America where they want your credit card right away. You go into the hospital. You go into the hospital. You only have to sign something. You have to sign that you are privately insured, that you're privately billed, and then once you get the bill and the bill is too high, then you can forward it to us and instruct us to pay it directly. So you don't have to worry about that, because if there would be the risk that everybody has to pay the hospital bills beforehand, then probably nobody would be in the private health insurance. And there's about 8 million people, 9 million people privately insured in Germany right now. Yeah.
Okay, that was a question I missed.
Okay, so if it is a big amount, then insurance company will take care of it.
No, we won't take care of it automatically unless you tell us. Yeah?
Yes, of course. After information.
Because it's always your responsibility, but we don't say 1,000 is big, 5,000 is big, or 10,000 is big. If you give us a bill of 1,000 and say, please pay that for me, then we will do. Yeah?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be 5 or 10 or 20,000. If 1,000 for you is a lot, then you give us the 1,000 euro bill. Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to add one point to it. Perhaps there is a 24/7 number, contact number, which you can contact in case of such things also, which I found, and one of our customers also used it. So that is much faster to connect in case of emergencies also.
Of course. Yeah.
So we had a positive feedback on that. I was really happy. So maybe I'm sharing it here. Even if you're from India, you can still call that number. That's the surprising part. But yeah.
Well, we cannot guarantee that everybody speaks fluent English, but we all have English in school, and so it's mandatory at least for 5 or 6 years. So most people will at least understand the basic one.
Perfect. So I think these were the main questions, Andy, which we had in chat. And if anybody else still has, feel free to write in chat so that I can collect it. If anything specific privately you want to write to me also. Most of you have my WhatsApp number. Some of you are from the groups also. So I think it's fine. Otherwise, I would like to thank Andy for giving this time and then giving rightful information. Like we spoke both about positives as well as negatives. So yeah, really thanks again. So regarding the slides, I will not be sharing the slides because just a personal note. So last time I shared something, it ended up with another consultant. So I'll be sharing a different set of an email with some details for you to go through, of course. So please feel free to read it like a brochure, and then you can also see more information on that. Yeah. So Hitesh for you. Thank you.